Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to check out the FF6 Trials of Reckoning that's dropping in Global tomorrow. Do a little pre-game pep talk slash pre-guide here. We're going to look at the loot, look at the units that are available as bonuses, what you should look for in those units when you're building a team, and talk about the boss a little bit because we do know some info going into this thing. Now, let's start by talking about the loot and is it worth farming? I really do think that it is. It's a UR accessory, it's Tara's ribbon. I know it says Tina's ribbon up there, but you know, I mean, it's a translation thing. It's Tara's ribbon. As far as which one of these you're going to want, Spirit. 16 Spirit is very, very nice on an accessory. I think that's first place. In a distant second, you might go think about the critical version, and then I don't really like the vital version at all. But that's not why you want this. You want this for the passive effect. Human Killer 15 with magic attacks for yourself is a very, very strong passive effect, especially in the game right now where we have access to Trust Stone buffs. You can't get Magic Human Killer 15 on a Trust Stone buff. So this gives you access to a buff that you don't have to worry about stacking with your Trust Stones, which is really, really nice. And the fact that it's a regular accessory, not a TMR accessory, opens up some good build options for your mages if you wanted to run a TMR weapon or a TMR piece of armor. This would be a very nice accessory to slot in. I don't think you need to go crazy with this and get like 5 or 4 or something like that. 1 or 2 is going to be enough at a +5, but that's enough of a job anyway. So that's the loot. Now, we're going to be killing Kefka to get this loot. I'm obviously over on wotivcalc.com. If you've never been there before, fantastic site. You should go check it out. And let's take a peek at his stats right here so you can see what kind of units you're going to want to bring to beat him down. First of all, we're going to look at Trial of Judgment Boss Hard. So this is the hard mode fight. He has 100,000 HP. A nice big number, and you kind of want a nice big number on this guy because it gives you a chance to build up a nice big chain, score a bunch of points, because on Trials of Reckoning you score points by chaining attack types, chaining element types, doing overkill damage, killing certain units, taking less damage, etc. It's like those, you know how you can score all those points on the hard modes of the game right now? Trials of Reckoning is the original of that. So here we go. Here's the guy you're going to be hitting a lot to score the points. Now, he is weak to slash only. It's his only weakness. So if you want to score points for hitting a weakness, you want to bring slashing attacks. One thing I want to say to that is, if you debuff his other attack type resists to a negative, you will then score bonus points for hitting that negative as well. That's a trick a lot of people I think don't know about Trials. He is also a fire element unit, so he is minus 10% to water. That's the easiest way to score elemental points against him. However, same thing. If you debuff an elemental resist to him, and then you start hitting that resist over and over again, you will score bonus points for that, which again opens up more team comp options. There's the breakdown. Now, the other important thing to look at are his ailment resists. The big one here is he is weak to slow. Boom. This is huge. This is a big one to be weak to if you're going for big chains, because if you can slow a guy and then knock down his CT, debuff his agility, you can make it so he either gets about 1 turn and then you chain him to death, or you can make it so he has 0 turns in some situations with some bosses. So weak to slow, and we'll talk about some bonus units that have that here in a minute. Also, he's very accurate. He has a lot of spirit penetration. You cannot debuff his HP. You cannot, and he does have cast time down, but we ain't worried about that because we're going to prevent him from getting turns, which is the way to go. Now, if you wanted to know what other mobs were on this map, you can also go look at that here. Like, I'm not going to go over this map in detail. Here's enemy spawns, Kefka spawns right here. Here's where you can spawn your team. This is something to explore in the client once we have it. But it could be worth coming down here and checking out the other mobs on the screen to help you kind of see what other units you want to bring. For example, all of these thieves have an element and are weak to slash. So if you want to score bonuses on them, bring a slashing unit that is the counter element. And then these like the Cactar, both Cactars by the way, weak to magic and slash. So you can come here, check that out if you want to. Basically, slashing type units and Velis are going to hit a lot of weaknesses here. That's the thing to key up on. All right, now let's talk about units you can bring for these. And I love to start by talking about Titus. In my opinion, Titus is one of the kings of Trials of Reckoning. He can be replaced on this one, and in fact, he is just a medium bonus where you have some replacements to him that are large bonuses. But why is Titus so good? Well, I want to show you what he can do to help you chain on bosses. First of all, he has Delay Buster. He can put a slow on the boss while building a water slashing chain. This is invaluable, and if you're bringing Titus, this could be something you want him to do. He also has Quick Hit Plus, which is a CT decrease, which will literally move the boss down in the turn order, super valuable, while decreasing his agility by 25% to make it so he's slower at coming back up the turn order. Quick Hit Plus is the bread and butter skill for PvE Titus. If you're bringing him, you want this slow, you want this quick hit. He can also, by the way, he can also debuff defense for the target as well with Jack Shot right here, a 30 defense debuff. Now, all of these things we're talking about, there are replacements to him on this with large bonuses, and we're going to talk about that. The thing with Titus that I think is super good and oftentimes overlooked is his limit break. Titus only has one multi-hit slashing attack, but it is a 4-hitter. 4 hits. That's so many hits. It's 4 of them. It's 1 more than 3, 2 more than 2, 1 less than 5. We just learned a lot about the number 4. It has a big modifier on it, 205%. This is a fantastic skill to last hit a boss with. If you can drop that boss's HP to, like, you know, less than 1,000, get it really, really low, and then blitz ace him with the maximum, as high of a chain as you can get after you've put all those debuffs on the boss, this can get you massive, massive points in the overkill category. So that's kind of the Titus breakdown. Now, one of the units that is a large bonus that could replace Titus in a lot of your comps is Farm, another water chaining unit, which is very, very good. And then if we look at the skills that she's bringing here, that you're going to want to have. Her main one is her upgraded Dream Within a Dream, Demise Within a Dream. This is a 3-hitter that she can use 4 times. So she's going to be bread and butter for building up a lot of your water slashing chains. And it comes with a defense and spirit debuff on it. It also has an increased crit chance. I'm going to talk about that. Actually, I'll talk a little bit more about that right as soon as I'm done with Farm. So Farm also can slow the target because she has Samurai Sub. If you don't have any other way of slowing, but you have some slashing units with Samurai Sub, they often have a move here, Oborozuki, hard move to say, but slashing chaining move that can slow the target. So she can replace the slow and the defense debuff that Titus brings. She just is not going to be up there like knocking down their CT. Her limit break also is a water resistance debuff, so she can break the boss's water defense even more, which is great if you're going for those maximum damage hits late in your chain, because to achieve those like capped hits, and we're in a world now where you have 2 vision cards, right? A main vision card and a sub vision card that can raise your damage cap, plus Trust Stone runes that can raise your damage cap, plus EX job boards that can raise your damage cap. If you want to hit that maximum damage number, decreasing water resistance, slash resistance, single target resistance, defense, spirit, you're going to want to do as many debuffs to the boss as you can. Farm brings a water resistance debuff. Very, very nice. Okay, now I want to mention something here. With Farm, with her Dream Within a Dream, you have a very high chance of critting with this, right? An increase of 20%, you can build her up even more there. I want to talk about Snuggles. If you're lucky enough to have Halloween Frederica's TMR, this has a buff on it that will decrease the single target resist of a boss by 20 when you crit. I highly recommend working this into your PvE slash chaining teams if you haven't, because that single target resist debuff can be hard to find for a lot of elements. Earth, not so much. You have Ketone who can do it, but Snuggles is a really cool access. So don't forget, when you're building your teams, look at your Trust Masters, look for things like buffs that can increase your group damage, or Trust Masters like Snuggles that can provide a crucial debuff to the enemy. So special shout out to Snuggles there, and Farm for having a high crit chance move that is cheap to use, so she might be able to afford to forego bells if you can build her right. Next up is Celis, one of the FF6 units, all 3 of which are extra large bonus units for this raid. So if you own 1 or 2 of them, and we all at least own Locke, incorporating them into your high scoring runs in a useful way will be important. What can Celis do though? What can she bring that would be good for like water chaining or something like that? I think her actual best move for hitting the boss, if you're looking to hit him for those like big damage numbers, is if you come down here to her Spellblade sub, she has Water Blade that has Fire Killer 25. It's cheap to use, it has 8 uses, so if you want Celis in your team hitting the boss for that like capped damage, you could look at something like Water Blade. The 131% modifier is a little bit low, however the 25 Fire Killer might help you make up for that. Otherwise, she does offer a Spirit debuff with her Rune Break if you don't have farm to debuff Spirit, and Spirit debuff will help somebody like Celis, who scales with magic, do more damage. So that's a pretty cool thing here. Other than that, I don't think Celis is ideal for chaining down the boss, but she does have the ideal attack type and ideal element, and is an extra large bonus. All those bonuses count, baby. So that's my little breakdown of Celis. Now, Locke is a slashing unit as well, but he's off element if you're going for a water chain. If you're going for a light chain, he's going to be massively crucial for your team, and he's going to be crucial in your other slashing chain teams as well. XL bonus unit, I want to shout out a couple things about him. First of all, I'm going to skip straight down to his limit break. Even if you are doing an off element, a not light element, or a mixed element slash chaining team, one of the most important things you're going to want to do is decrease the slash resistance of the boss further. He can come in here with his limit break and drop that slash resist by another 38%, putting it way into the negative and really helping your chains pop off for some more damage, and it also hits really hard. If you were to do a water slashing team or maybe a fire slashing team, you would probably want to lead with this, like have it be the first hit. It will count for the slash chain, and then your other elements can come in afterwards and start building up their chain. But what do you do with him in a off element, in a not light element slashing chain, if you don't want him breaking the elemental chain? Well, check out, he was built for this. He's perfect for this. He has this move right here, Stranded. This is a CT decrease for the target, minus 50. So he can replace Titus if you're not wanting to use Titus as a CT reducer, and it inflicts slow. So he can replace Titus in that way too. In fact, he might be the guy who puts Titus off of his pedestal as the god of PvE chaining. I don't know. He brings the things that Titus could bring. This move is amazing. Stranded, and it's not an attack, so it won't break chains. You can just have him debuff slash resist with his limit break early, and then just stranded on the boss, putting his CT down for the rest of the fight, right? For the rest of the fight. So he's great for manipulating CT. Now, if you are using a light slashing chaining team, which is a pretty good option, he does bring a multi-hit attack it's right here, Nightblade. He has a 3-hit wow, words. He has a 3-hit, 4-cast Drain Rush attack, so he's perfect for light chaining as well. Those are the special things I wanted to shout out about him. Great. He's going to be an excellent PvE unit for years to come in this game. So Locke's a god. And then Terra, our other FF6 unit, also going to be an XL bonus, and is really going to be used mostly for buffing and sniping out ice element enemies on a map. Now, in the non-boss fight maps, she could be very, very crucial for killing lots of ice element units. In the main boss's repertoire of ads, there's only one ice element guy. It's this thief. He is weak to fire and slashing, so she's really going to be good for going and picking that guy off. But before that, I would have Terra actually focus on getting either TMR buffs to your group, or she has a very, very strong slash attack buff. Focused Magic Release is a 40 slash attack buff for allies, so she could be really crucial, provide some early turn buffs for your group, then go snipe out in the ice element ad. That's kind of how I see her being used in this boss fight, but then on the other levels, she will still bring that XL bonus, and she can still go hunt those ice element units for you, Or if you're going for a fire chaining team, well heck, she has a ton of fire slashing moves that she can bring to the table. Her limit break is also a fire slash that will just give her spirit penetration, so she's not really providing that debuff that you like to see from a lot of your people, but that's Terra. I probably recommend her as a buffer. Now, we are getting Elsorel EX just in time for this to start, and she's a bonus unit. So what does she bring? Well, she's a big-time chainer who also now has an agility debuff with her job level 25 move. Let me quickly translate this to English. Let's see what the gravity blade. That's actually pretty cool. Like, that's a cool name for the translation. So she brings an agility debuff, which could be really nice for your light element slashing teams. And she has Drain Rush, the same multi-hit move that Locke has. So a very powerful chainer for your squad here. And then, you know, that's her. Her limit break is an AP consumption down for herself. This is okay, but I would really focus, if I was going to use a 120 Elsie, I would use her for this agility debuff and the chaining potential right here. She also does have concentration for a nice slash attack buff for your group. Boom, that's Elsie. Now, King Mont. King Mont, also a bonus unit, and it's a cool addition because I do think he kind of unlocks the ability for some fire chaining. Let me show you what I mean. King Mont has a slash resistance move right here, and it's not even his limit break. It's a nice big AoE hitter, decrease slash resist by 38% for 3 turns for target, Claws of the Young King. If you use King Mont, you've seen him use this move over and over again in PvP. Great move, so he can bring that to your table. He also has Nightblade sub. Now, even though he does not have a multi-hit move in his Nightblade sub, because it is a great sword class, he can equip the Halloween TMR Exorcist to give him access to a 3-hit move there. Or you could run him in Ninja sub, where he has Dream Within a Dream, a high crit chance, 3-hit, 4-use ability. Pretty dang good. So King Mont is like low-key a very, very good fire chainer when run alongside somebody like Rain, somebody like Terra for this raid, etc. Now, Velis, our newest unit, also come in as a big bonus. What can he do? Well, like, first of all, he can pick off some of these wind element units. And if you look at them, they have this unique thing here where they are weak to magic. Not a lot of these mobs are weak to magic, but the wind element ones are, which is really convenient for bringing along a Velis if that's part of your plan. So he can do that, but he can also do a little more for us. If we come down here, he has his haste, right? So he can give haste to one of your units who you want to do a lot more chaining, maybe somebody like a farm, King Mont, somebody like that. He has an ice resistance debuff if you need him to pick off elemental weakness units. He can maybe debuff their ice to get you that extra hit there. Then he has lethargic break. This is an AP drain that has a CT break on it. It is not as good as Locke's. Like Locke's is a 50 CT decrease. This one is only 20, but he can provide that for your group if you want Locke off doing something else, or for some reason you're not bringing Locke on the run. So that's a little shout out to what Velis can do for you. And then Esper summoning. Esper summoning in previous PvE encounters has been very, very important, so it's worth looking at your Espers and what their actual move is, because some of them come with things like what Leviathan comes with, a decrease in water resist, 50% for all enemies for 40 clock turns. So you could drop Leviathan. There was a raid in the past, I think it was, maybe it was Siren. Anyway, the key to getting the highest score on that raid was actually summoning Leviathan before you finished your big water chain, and it really unlocked Titus to just do massive amounts of damage. So keep an eye on your Espers for things like water resist debuffs, or whatever kind of summon they can bring. Just don't sleep on those. And if maybe there's some cool way to use Terra here in a with her summoning potential, she can boost summon gauges. Maybe that's a thing she can do. I don't know. That's the preview for this raid though. So good luck putting your teams together. While I'm talking about this, I will put up the bonus units and bonus vision cards. Do remember that sub vision cards count for the bonus. So stack as many bonuses in there as you can. Get those points. The more points you get, the more tickets to pull on the loot. The more tickets to pull on the loot, the easier it is to get those +5s. Good luck on trials, everybody. I love this content. I will make plenty more videos about it soon. Have a great day. Peace.